What is service design?
Service design is...
Are you doing okay? What are the job opportunities? That is a fail. I need you to answer this directly.
That is a really tough one. Oh, I'm already distracted.
Hello， 大家好，我是乔先生，欢迎回到我的频道。今天呢，又来到我们边设计边谈这个单元了。今天我跟你讲，如果你错过，我真的。服务设计呢是这几年来很受欢迎的一个话题，但是它感觉有点虚无缥缈。到底什么是服务设计？我要怎么学？今天我就邀请到我的一个好朋友，他不只是做 UX design， 他还专注在服务设计已经很多年的时间。欢迎我的好朋友
Azmina。Hey
George。Thank you for coming to my channel. This is super exciting. I obviously know you for years, but not my audience. Can you give my audience a little bit of yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Azmina. First of all, thanks so much, George, for having me. I am originally from Vancouver, Canada. I live in New York. Before that, I started my career in Boulder, Colorado. I worked at an agency called Crispin Porter in McGusky. I then moved on to another agency called RGA in New York. From there, I became a lot more interested in service design, and currently I'm at Audible doing a good mix of both UX design and service design work there, and that's how I met George.
That's how we met. 今天的设计目标呢，就是服务设计最常使用的一个工具 Journey Map 啊。同时我会问他有关一些服务设计的问题。Journey Map 的主题是什么呢？我们要 map 我们两个曾经最喜欢去的一个咖啡店买咖啡的这个消费者旅程。Can you tell my people a little bit about Birch? Like, what is that coffee shop about?
This coffee shop actually holds a special place for both you and me because it was the one time that we met up during the pandemic. So it was the first time we got to see each other after months.
Yeah, this is going to be a friendly competition. Are you ready, Azmina?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, so we have 10 minutes and go.
All right, this should be interesting.
What is service design?
It's thinking about design from the big picture. So looking at all the different touch points that are taking place in a specific journey while we're designing on coffee shops. Let's think about, the scenario where there might be two coffee shops right next to each other and they are serving the exact same coffee at the exact same price. So what is going to be the thing that's going to make you walk into one coffee shop versus the other? It's all the other aspects of the experience that is the makeup of the service design, and that's really going to differentiate one business from another. When you think of UX design, you're thinking about, a few things as well, but mainly thinking about that cup of coffee. And then when you're thinking of service design, you're kind of thinking about the experience and the context that surrounds that too.
What do you like about service design?
I love a lot of aspects of service design. I just really love how it's big picture thinking, and then I love how it's kind of the intersection between different channels and touch points. The fact that you kind of get to think through that entire experience, that holistic experience. It's really rewarding when you can really identify those moments where you can reduce anxiety, you can bring joy and delight to people, and you can kind of improve that quality of life. That's what I really love about it.
What are the job opportunities for a service designer?
Yeah, I would say there are tons of opportunities in service design. There's opportunities across different verticals in government, in transportation, in healthcare, in education, you name it. There are tons of opportunities. In technology companies, lots of opportunities for service design there.
If people want to actually start in service design, where can they start learning service design?
There are tons of resources to get started. The first place I'd recommend you going to is the Service Design Network. It's a global network dedicated to sharing of knowledge and education of service design, and also elevating professionals in that space as well. There's a conference that happens every year in a different city in the world. They have a Slack channel as well where there's some knowledge sharing and also job posting. So definitely check out both the site, check out the Slack group as well. And then I would also recommend the Interaction Design Association. They have a lot of great resources as well, and they're also very well connected with the Service Design Network. Another resource I would have is a couple books. This is service design thinking, and this is service design doing. A lot of great methods and kind of ways to put service design into action there as well. And actually, there's also a podcast called The Service Design Show, so you can also check that out. Yeah.
Cool. So everything that Azmina said, I'll make sure that I'll hunt them down. I'll put them in the description box. So if you're interested in either transferring into this field or just kind of expand your UX skill sets, take a deeper look in the possible learning paths. One other thing I was going to ask you is that a lot of people think that service design is just a buzzword. Everything's service. Why is this such a different thing? Why does it try to sound special? How would you react to that?
I mean, that's a tough one because there are methods that differentiate.
So our time is up.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
answer that question, please. And then we use that time to finish up. But I want some answers to that question because that would really help a lot of people.
Definitely. I mean, there is something really unique about service design because there's a set of methodologies that really differentiate service design, but it's also a way of thinking as well. You're not just thinking about one detail, one vertical about it, and you're thinking about a variety of actors involved in that experience as well. Everyone from the customers, the front end, to the staff and the back end and how they're being supported. It really is kind of an important field of practice and a very important way of bringing value to a business. It's not just design skills. It's also analytical skills. It's strategic skills. It's research skills. It's putting that business and marketing hat on. You're a person of many hats when you are practicing service design. Not to say that UX designers can't practice service design, but there is a different way of thinking and there's a different set of methodologies and strategies that are incorporated in service design, which is why it's important to call it out specifically because that's something that businesses need to get on board with as well.
Sorry, I put you at the hot seat to actually do it in a commercial setting specifically. It's even harder than a lot of other settings. And you need all these skill sets that Azmina mentioned to actually perform it and even, let's just say, educate a lot of your partners in an office, right? It is hard to describe what service design is. That's, I think, one of the reasons why it might feel buzzwordy. Because it's a lot. It's not just using Figma or something like that.
It's not just siloed, right? UX is part of service design. Design research is part of service design. Service design, you can think about it as an umbrella that encompasses all of these things.
The time has come. We have to look at our maps.
I'm gonna go first so that you can one up my map. So it's very bare bones, but I tried to kind of lay down the foundation for how we think about journey maps overall. So when we're thinking about customer journey maps, we're thinking about the experience from the customer's point of view. So I tried to break down at least the categories that I would have added in a journey map. First category is sort of the stage. What is that experience pre-ordering? And then what are all the steps taking place within these stages? So that's kind of what I'm calling activity and doing. We decided on Birch Coffee. We had to get to Birch Coffee. How do we get there? And then deciding on what coffee to order. That involves looking at the menu, placing the order, talking with the staff there, paying for your order, waiting for the coffee, getting your coffee, enjoy your coffee. When I'm talking about thinking and needs, I'm talking about what is a customer goal from their point of view. In the case of deciding on a coffee order, I need to see what my options are. That's the customer goal so that I can decide on what my coffee is. Feeling is kind of like, is it generally a positive feeling or a negative feeling in that moment? What are the pain points? If I was a little better at multitasking, I would have probably had these in, pretty colors. That's kind of the framework of a customer journey. Yeah.
I love it. By the way, I think you actually did way better than I thought anyone could have. So I'm already very proud of you.
Thanks.
What do you think is the benefit of starting with this kind of framework? Is it going to limit your thinking? Is it going to actually open up your thinking?
I would say that this is a really good starting point in a project. it could be a really good way for both you as a designer and then also your stakeholders, so if you're working with clients, to just really understand what is the journey currently like. So you can almost think of it as a form of research, and you might be able to actually incorporate research as a way to fill in parts of this journey, especially the emotions side of things. Identify those touch points or those moments where it can be improved, make that service amazing and differentiate it.
It is a great tool to diagnose, right? It's like when you're sick, you go to a doctor. If the doctor doesn't diagnose you and just be like, oh, take these medicine, you'll be like, are they good for me even? So this is, to your point, a great conversational tool as well as an actual working tool to help you identify pain points so that you have a good diagnosis where you start thinking about solutions and medicine as an analogy.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
I need to take away my shame and share my work now.
All right, let's see it. I'm excited for this.
I didn't start with a framework, and that's why I wanted to ask that question. What I did instead is I only look at the actor customer, because we only have 10 minutes, and I wanted to list down all the behavioral touch points that they have. It could be starting from seeing a store, thinking whether they need a coffee, and then actually deciding to like enter the store, to reading the menu, decide the order, and then at the end actually make that transaction if it's something that they're interested in buying. And then the next step is elevating that by looking at the mental spaces. So when they are looking at the store and thinking if they should enter, they might be in the mental space of awareness and assessing whether it's a good place to enter. And then when they start looking at the menu and decide which coffee is what they want, they're in the phase of understanding the offering of the coffee shop. So that's how I looked at it.
Yeah, I think this is great, and I think you hit on some points that I wasn't able to in some parts of the journey there.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for doing this. This was fun. I still have a few questions I feel like needed to be answered, so I guess we can move on from the design task and finish up the interview.
Yeah, let's do it.
So how do you like the service design community?
It's a great community. I've been to the service design conference when it was held in Dublin, Ireland, and everyone was just so smart. Everyone was so supportive. It was a very collaborative experience. It's a community that just thrives on sharing knowledge with one another.
I want to be a part of that community.
Yeah.
Is there a particular country or vertical that service design is a little more valued or a little more practiced?
There are tons of opportunities worldwide. I know that there is an initiative in Ireland where the city was taking more of a service design approach. And then also the city of New York, I believe, has some volunteer opportunities in service design. And I also know of a colleague from the conference who had worked on the transportation system. It's very global. You just have to look for the right opportunities. Take a look at the site, the Service Design Network. Also take a look at the Interaction Design Association and then their Slack group. You'll see lots more case studies and examples of service design happening at a global scale, at the governmental level as well.
This is super resourceful. Thank you so much. For a lot of people, this feels like a black box. It's really hard to get in. Like if you just kind of Google it, you get scattered information. So this is super helpful coming from a person who's actually practicing this and be involved in the community. All right, obviously today we were doing a journey map while we're talking, so it's not going to give you all the information that you need around service design. So if you're interested in learning more, feel free to leave a comment or question down below. If you want to ask question directly to Azmina, I would highly recommend you do that in English so she can understand it and reply to it directly. Thanks, Azmina. This has been fun.
This was awesome. Thanks so much, George.
My honor. 好，那今天乔治先生的边设计边谈就到这边喽，下次再见，拜拜。